Heavy rain and major flooding continuing across northern Queensland, but finally, after a wet 2 weeks, some reprieve is on the way for northern Queensland. But firstly, as another wet night and day across much of northern Queensland, we saw widespread falls of 50 to 150 millimetres from Cowan-Yarmah all the way down through the peninsula, North Tropical Coast, Herbert and Larbertican, with even moderate to heavy falls around the Central Coast and Whitsundays. But in the last 6 hours, I want you to point to the circulation we're starting to see in the radar. And that indicates that a low is developing along the monsoon trough. And the good news with that is it's starting to continue moving eastwards, and that means it's going to contract the rain finally away from our flood affected areas of Queensland. But we still have a wet 24 hours to go. And that's why we have a severe weather warning current from Tully all the way down to Bowen, Proserpine and Hamilton Island. What that means, if you live in this highlighted area or know someone that does, further forecast rainfall will lead to flash and riverine flooding. And we could see falls of 100 to 200 millimetres in this area in the next 24 hours, with isolated totals in excess of that. A particular concern now already flood affected communities around Cardwell, Ingham, Rolling Stone and down to Townsville, where any additional heavy rainfall will likely lead to rapid river responses. And because of all this rainfall over the last week or two, we do have many flood warnings current across much of northern Queensland. A particular concern are our residents and communities that live on and near any flood affected rivers. That includes major flooding on these red highlighted areas, including the Flinders River, the Cape River, as well as the Herbert River and the Horton River around Townsville area. We're also seeing moderate flooding in a number of other rivers around Queensland, with minor flooding also in the green and flood watches current for large parts of the peninsula and around the Gulf country, as further rainfall in these areas will likely to lead to flash and possible riverine flooding. And more rainfall is on the way. Let's look at that in more detail. So today, widespread showers and rain, as you saw in the radar earlier, continuing around from Port Douglas all the way down to around Proserpine and our flood affected communities. But notice as we move into tonight and tomorrow, we'll see a low developing off the shore and continuing to move away from the coast. And that's going to really dry things out along much of eastern Queensland. And you can note by Thursday morning, pretty dry conditions across much of eastern Queensland as southerly winds bring drier air, and the monsoon trough moves north as well, contracting rainfall to northern parts of Queensland. And over the next few days, total rainfall mostly in that 25 to 75 millimetres, though we could see widespread 50 to 150 millimetres along our flood affected areas from Innisfail down to around Bowen. But most of this rainfall will fall in the next 24 hours. And then finally, we're going to see a clearance as we move into Thursday and Friday, with the rainfall contracting to north of Cairns into the Peninsula District. So our last day of heavy rainfall and severe weather conditions, likely from Tully down to Ayr, with heavy falls possible between Cardwell and Ayr. So if you live in this area or know someone that does, make sure you stay up to date with the latest forecasts and warnings via our website and app, and listen to all advice from emergency services.